Oh, thank you. Champ Week presented by Principal. And welcome to Las Vegas, here at the Orleans Arena in Vegas, home of the West Coast Conference Tournament. We've got the semifinals for you tonight here on ESPN, and then at 11:30 over on ESPN2. The top two seeds, both in the top 25, and the number one seed, as it always seems, is Gonzaga. They're taking on the Dons of San Francisco. I'm Bob Wischusen here with Dick Vitale. Gene Wojciechowski with us here tonight as well. And Dick, it is amazing the consistency that Mark Few has built this kingdom he's got in Spokane.
It's incredible. The last time they didn't make the finals in this tournament, we're thinking 1997. That's incredible. I had a few hairs on my head at that time. I mean, Mark Few to me, as you look at Kyle right here, Smith, he's done a great job at Columbia, second year here, won 20 games last year with the Dons of San Fran.
For Kyle Smith with the Dons, their third 20-win season in the last 21 years. Of course, Gonzaga, once again, the outright West Coast Conference champions. They have won or shared the title 6 years in a row and 17 of the last 18 years. And Frankie Ferrari runs the show for the Dons. Although scoring inside to start is Ratino.
Ratino's a guy that can score for them, makes the three really well. But Frankie Ferrari is their engine, baby. He's their engine. Here's the Zags, number 6 in America, Bob.
Perkins with a lob. What a finish! Holding in the air was Killian Tilly, and he was able to flip it in with one hand. And
Tilly's going to be a star player, Bob. He really is. He's got a star ability. We're going to watch right here, a little two-man game, the lob up on top. Great timing. You know, he made 5 threes yesterday, 5 for 5 from the trifecta.
Tilly's role has increased significantly considering everything that Mark Few lost from the Final Four team last season.
Well, he loses Karnowski. He loses the great Collins, who I think is going to be a superstar eventually. He's only a kid getting a lot of minutes with Portland.
Ferrari with a shot fake. Can't get it to go.
They run a lot of that Princeton kind of offense, a lot of back cuts, a lot of ball handoff moves.
Silas Melson buries a triple.
That's one thing they can do. They can make the threes. They got great guard play. Gonzaga has been an outstanding program for years. Mark Few has taken them now 18 consecutive times to the NCAA tournament. And it'll be 19 after this year. See, there's the backdoor cut.
Ferrari.
Oh, wow. A little Princeton offense. Ferrari cutting without the basketball. Told me he loves to eat at North Beach in San Fran. He said he likes to have some spaghetti and rigatoni. You know, I'm going to give that kid some PR today, Bob.
I knew the Paisan was going to get extra Dick Vitale love as Tilly is 2 for 2 to start the game.
He's going to get a lot of love from a lot of people. What a family he comes from in terms of athletes. Brothers, outstanding athletes, volleyball stars. One played basketball. His dad coached the national team out in France in volleyball. Oh, look at these cuts. Walk there.
Traveling called on Matt McCarthy.
Look for what a nice cut. Because the defense staring at the basketball. They spread the court so well that it's very difficult to give help from the help side.
Tilly gives it up. Jonathan Williams with the left hand.
Jonathan's a little Marco Polo guy. Came from Missouri. One of the premier players in the conference. He's been so strong in the interior. He'll get a chance to play at the next level. It's going to be up to him and how well he does once he gets to camp. Like to penetrate. Lowe's looking to kick the ball out. Spread the court exceptionally well.
Ratino lost it. Saved to Williams.
Played twice during the year with 2 good battles. One time they were down, you were talking me, 28-11, came back and 1-point lead. They can shoot the three, man. The Zags can shoot the three. The Zags, number 6 in America. Oh, they love it. Look at the Zag fans, Bob. They love it. They travel.
Back at 30 seconds. Bob Wischusen and Dick Vitale back at the WCC Championship. Gene Wojciechowski with us as well. And Gene, again, Mark Few has to reinvent this team with all he lost from last season.
You know, Bob, Mark Few said today at the shoot-around that he has been really hard on this team. And one of the reasons is he was holding them to the high standards of last year's 37-2 NCAA championship final game team. And he said he decided that really was a bit unfair, but he still wants his team to communicate. He says they're a bunch of introverts and they need to become more extroverted.
Ferrari hits a three. He did say that Zach Norvell might be the one guy on his team that has a little bit of that alpha dog in him, but losing Williams Goss, the point guard, of course, from last season, losing a one-and-done like Collins, he felt like he lost some of that alpha dog toughness that he had on his team last year.
Yeah, that leadership. You know, I'll tell you this. Gene talked about the little introverted right now. They seem like I am. It takes a while to get out of it, yes. Gene. It takes a little while to get that extroverted way. I've been working on it. I'm getting close.
We're hoping you let the curtain down at some point and let us see the true you.
What about Ferrari hitting that three?
Tilly hits the third triple already for the Zags.
Wait, what about Tilly? 5 for 5 last night from the three. 5 for 5, and he comes back with another one to start tonight. Unbelievable. Tilly's got a chance, man. He could be a special talent, special player. Skip Ferrari knows how to play. See the way he spreads the court, good instincts, good feel for the game.
Chase Foster leans in, comes up short. Norvell the rebound.
Norvell played at a great high school program in Chicago. Simeon. Jamari Parker is there, former Duke star, now in the NBA.
Perkins back to Tilly. Thought about a three. 10 to shoot.
You know what I love about the Zags, Bob? They share the basketball. They really do. They share with one another. They play with a sense of pride. They defend. I mean, last year with a minute to go, they looked like they were going to be a national championship team.
Terrific off-balance shot by Nate Renfro.
Renfro with the drive to the goal. Was a play by Hicks late in the game that really sparked Carolina to that win.
And now Jonathan Williams trying to get set in the lane, commits an offensive foul. It will go to the Dons when we come back. But Gonzaga has found a scoring star in this tournament in Killian Tilly.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal. Investments, retirement, insurance.
Back at the WCC Championship, the semifinals. Gonzaga, the 1 seed, off to the quick start. Bob Wischusen, Dick Vitale, Gene Wojciechowski with us as well. There's something to be said for not messing with Happy.
Yeah,
and Mark Few has not messed with Happy, right? He has stayed in Spokane, built a kingdom, just wins every year.
Well, it was Jimmy V saying, don't ever mess with Happy. I messed with Happy, went to the NBA, and got the Ziggy. And I'll tell you this, he's not going anywhere. He's staying right there. He loves it. They love him. And I think he's a future Hall of Famer. It'll take a few more years, but he's starting to put incredible numbers up. I also feel Jay Wright. I think Jay Wright and certainly Mark Few are heading in that direction. They have everything you want as a championship coach. Quality in every way, on, off the court. But they execute. Kyle Smith does a great job trying to get the maximum out of his personnel. Very limited in terms of blue chip talent.
They're going to have to force one up here, though, with the shot clock winding down. Nearly banking one home was Jordan Rattino. How about the muscle on the offensive glass from Nate Renfro?
Tell you what, great play by Renfro there to come up with that offensive rebound to score. They were down 13-4 early. They made a little run here now, cut it to 5.
Hachimura. Straight away, jumper goes down for Rui Hachimura.
He's an incredible story. Comes off the bench and made all conference and is their leading scorer. He has a chance to be an NBA player. Hachimura, one of 5 people from Japan to play Division I basketball.
Only averaged about 2.5 points a game last season, but first team All-League this year in the West Coast Conference.
They got such balance. 5 guys in double figures.
Chase Foster can't hit. Hachimura's got the rebound.
7 guys this year scored 20 or more points.
Perkins to the wing. Wide open. Killian Tilly on his birthday, by the way. Turns 20 years old today. He might get 20 tonight.
He's got 7 for 7 now for goal last night and today. 7 for 7 shooting the 3, the big guy. Brother Kim played at the University of Utah. Brother Kevin was a 2-time volleyball champ over at Cal Irvine.
Frankie Ferrari.
Little Frankie, man. Little Frankie's not going to back down. I'll tell you one thing. He's not going to back down.
Hachimura. Jump hook. Short. And here comes Ferrari.
Talked to him before the game. He says, I'm sorry, I got to go shoot some shots. I can't talk. I got to get loose. He's a competitor. I like it. Little handoffs. They do that really well.
Ferrari tries to keep his dribble alive. Bothered by Perkins. Turns it over to Norvell. Here comes Tilly. Offensive foul.
Good call. He definitely ran him over. No question. Good call there. The Dons of San Francisco have some history. Think back to the 50s. Had a few good players. There's the little charge. Bill Russell. Are you kidding me?
He wasn't bad.
K.C. Jones. He wasn't bad either.
And you mentioned Bill Cartwright, who's here tonight.
Yep. Back-to-back championships. Bill and I were talking before the game. 29-0. Look at this history. Look at this history right there. Unbelievable. Bill Cartwright. Take a look at that. Unreal. They lost, broke the streak. I hate to say it because I know he's listening right now. He's probably saying, you better give me credit. The digger, Mr. Phelps, they were 29-0. And they got me. He's telling me all about it. He said we lost to Notre Dame. 29 weeks they were #1 in the country. Played also a vital part in the success of Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. Those 6 titles. Look at that cut without the ball. I love watching this.
Ferrari gives it up. Maybe should have taken that jumper. Instead, it's McCarthy in close, and he can't hit.
Hey, Dick, you mentioned Jay Wright earlier from Villanova. One of the things that Kyle Smith wants to do is mold this program after what Villanova has done. Smaller Catholic University, build it around basketball.
I'll tell you
the alley-oop, pretty good to Nate Renfro.
That's a good point. That's a good point to follow. I can tell you that. Follow what they've done down in Villanova. Good example. When I got the job at University of Detroit, I was trying to emulate my guy, my hero from New York City, great guy, Al McGuire and Marquette. You gotta be realistic in your thinking.
How'd that work out?
It didn't go out bad. Went out pretty good. My last year, we had a great team. Had a tremendous assistant coach. Want to say hi to him. Good Vegas, Smokey Gaines.
Perkins off balance and off the window.
Perkins is solid draw. What experience they got. Really experienced. My last year, we lost to Michigan and went #1 in the country, and we took so much out of them that like 36 hours later, they got beat by North Carolina, Charlotte, Cornbread Maxwell. They go to the Final Four. Maybe the Sweet 16.
Renfro gives it up, and McCarthy finishes.
I mean, you're watching a real team. Team for togetherness, for attitude, and for mental toughness.
Great running on the floor, though. Jonathan Williams, his first team all WCC this year.
He's so strong and physical on the inside. Costco told us we got to watch defensively. We got to get back in transition. He didn't do a good job right there. Nice fake, good ball fake. Always
a little too unselfish. Another near-in miss for McCarthy as Renfro gave it up.
Too unselfish there. Should have shot that basketball.
Chance for Ratina on the run out. He does not have numbers, so he'll pull it back out. Wait for some help.
Tell you one thing, these kids are playing really hard. A lot of intensity out there.
It's a great pace to the start of this game. Corey Crispert is able to create a held ball. It belongs to Gonzaga. When we come back, 8-point lead for the Zags.
And look at that Jam City. Little jam on each someone sharing the basketball. He said, well, look, anything you can do, I can do better. Wow, he's so strong and physical, Bob.
Gene Wojciechowski as well, and pretty good point guard in the house watching his alma mater.
I'll tell you one thing, he could give the rock up, could he? He and Malone, well, what a combination. You know what they were going to do, and they still scored. Just a terrific leader. His son was a solid ball player for the Zags as well.
And his daughter plays for the Zags women's team. They're in the championship game tomorrow on the women's side of the West Coast Conference tournament. How about this? 17-1 in the regular season for both the men's and ladies teams at Gonzaga, and both a home loss to St. Mary's.
Unbelievable. St. Mary's had a strong program, but they've had a deal with Gonzaga to success. Look at cut without the ball. Nice
Norvell
play.
able to finish.
Norvell did a great job posting up to the inside. If he makes his first shot, they say watch out. He can put a number of them up on the board.
great early pace to this game, but is it too quick for the Dons? Would you want to slow this down against Gonzaga?
See, I would, but Kyle said to us that he doesn't want to slow. You got to score points against them.
Lowell keeps it alive on the offensive glass. Powers one up. Looking for his own miss, fighting for it with Williams.
Should have dunked that basketball. Had a clear cut to dunk it.
And it looks like a timeout will be granted. So now we've got the New York Life ACC tournament to talk about, and that is a lot of basketball that they'll play at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, beginning with Boston College and Georgia Tech tomorrow at noon Eastern on ESPN2.
I'm going to tell you a game that's going to be really big. I'm assuming Notre Dame beats Pittsburgh. If they don't, they're in major trouble. But they just should beat Pittsburgh. Their game with Virginia Tech could be the game to determine if they get in the tournament. Because the committee's got to look now and say, well, Bonzie Colson's back. Now let's see if he can get him to the winner's circle. Now if he goes there, I played him tough, played Virginia tough. Bonzie, obviously, to me, if he's in the lineup with Notre Dame all year, I think they're a top 25 team without a doubt. So I think it's important that they beat Virginia Tech to get that knockout punch with the committee to say, you know what? They belong to be one of the 36 at-large teams. The eye test. I don't need the quadrant test. I got the eye test. And I got one eye and I can see that.
I knew that was coming.
I got one eye and I can see that. Same with Texas. They're 8-10 in conference play, but they've had some injuries, have some quality wins. I think they need one more win in the tournament. Big 12. There's that motion, a lot of motion away from the ball, the help side.
Martino just a little bit short.
They're going to win this game. They got to make threes. They got to make some threes. They don't make threes, they'll have no shot to win this game.
Hachimura in the post, goes it right in it, and dunks it home.
Great footwork down in the post, Bob. I love his footwork down there. Good ball fake. I mean, here's a guy, all conference, coming off the bench.
Ferrari at the elbow. Here comes Jonathan Williams.
He can rebound. Williams can rebound. A lot of experience.
Again, it's Hachimura. Just too much to handle as he gets low position, and he is going to go to the free throw line.
You know, if his minutes go up, his numbers are going to go up. Plays about 20 minutes a game, averages 12, leads the team in scoring. Look at this right here. Nice drop step. Little move, takes it to the goal. He has to learn that from UB Brown. UB Brown, great teacher of the mechanics of the game. And he used to work on it all the time. Big man moves down at the five-star basketball camp.
Karan Butler's going to join us second half of the doubleheader over on ESPN2 when BYU takes on St. Mary's. We were talking to him a little earlier, and he's seen a lot of the West Coast Conference this season, as we all have, certainly with Gonzaga. He said in NBA circles, Rui Hachimura is starting to open some eyes.
Yeah, he really is. There's no question. He has a chance. A little full court pressure here. Trying to get him out of that offense. A lot of teams probably try to zone them, but they shoot the three too well. A little trap. Karan Butler, man, what a career he had. 17 years, made the All-Star team several times. Got a championship in the NBA. You're going to enjoy listening to him in the next game.
Williams knocks it away in the lane. Here comes Hachimura. Throws it down with the left hand.
That'll excite some people. Are you serious? Hachimura from out of Japan with the left hand jam running the court. Oh, yes. They love him. Spokane. He's a hero in Spokane. I'm going to tell you right now. Watch this. There's the kick out. Bam.
That is special athleticism from Hachimura.
He's just learning really how to play, like you said. Had limited minutes last year. Here he goes. Goes there with the left hand jam, baby. Up, up, and away. Oh, I would love to have done that as a kid. The dream of doing that.
I've said before, I wouldn't be able to do that on a Nerf hoop.
My success as an athlete was all through dreams.
Sule gets boomed by Jonathan Williams. Hachimura, Euro crossover. And they're going to call that an offensive foul, as holding his ground was Djordjevic, and he took the charge.
Randy McCall with that call. That was a good call. Tried to use that Euro step. D. Wade does that exceptionally well. Did it well when he played at Marquette for Tom Crean. 17 down. And remember, they were 17 down this year against Gonzaga. Came back and cut it to 1. Let's see if they can make another comeback like they did that and lost the game late in the game.
Shot clock winding down, and traveling as he swooped to the goal was Chase Foster. Under 8 to go here in the first half. Gonzaga doubling up San Francisco. 34-17 in the first of our semifinals tonight. We'll head to the bracket bunker. Check in with Joe Lunardi when we come back to Las Vegas. We are back in Las Vegas. Gonzaga in control of San Francisco in the first of our doubleheader in the WCC semifinals. Bob Wischusen, Dick Vitale, Gene Wojciechowski here in Las Vegas. But of course, living in the infinity bracket bunker is our own Joe Lunardi. And Joey Brackets, we take a look at the WCC. How high do you think Gonzaga can climb in terms of a seed? I'm assuming you're probably projecting them to win this league championship again. If they do, where do you put them on Selection Sunday?
Hey, Joe, I want to ask you this. We got a lot of Bubble City going on right now. A lot of teams on the bubble. Let's stay in the ACC. You look at Notre Dame, you look at Syracuse, and you look at Louisville. What is their status in terms? Do they have to win tournament action games to get into the tournament? Well, you know, Joe, the next game would be with North Carolina. That would be big. What about Oklahoma? 14-2 to start the year. It's been a disaster since that point in terms of losing lots of games. Do they have to beat Oklahoma State to get in? What about St. Mary's situation? Got to win the tournament? What about UCLA? What about UCLA's situation?
And Joe, real quick, back to the Big 12. That's my next stop going to Kansas City this week. You've got, as you said, Bedlam as a play-in game on Wednesday night. We never would have expected that. But as of this past weekend, I have a Texas game on Saturday, and you had them right on the bubble, to the right side of the bubble, with a win over West Virginia, which would have brought the total right now that you're projecting as of the 10 teams in the Big 12, 8 could make it. Do you think that's realistic? Could 8 Big 12 teams make the field?
One last question, SEC, my friend. How many come out of the SEC? I think it's the best conference in basketball, followed by the Big 12.
Joe Lenardi, no one could ever find the bracket bunker. I don't know how, people locate you, but as far as I know, you're like Punxsutawney Joe, right? Like you come out after the end of the NCAA tournament, we get to figure out whether or not winter continues. Yeah, exactly. Joe Lenardi in the bracket bunker. Thanks a million, Joe. Appreciate it.
He does a great job, Joe.
It's great. Great conversation. We love talking about the bubble as we head through these conference tournaments and which teams have to do work. And we'll see if the WCC could find a way to miraculously get a third team in, as it looks like Gonzaga and St. Mary's are certainly very safe. Gonzaga doing work right now against San Francisco. This is the first of our doubleheader, and Norvell looking for another three, and he indeed has another triple. Zach Norvell lighting it up here in the first half. He's already made 3 threes.
Well, they said he's the kind of guy, if he makes the first shot, watch out.
And that's his fourth, pardon me.
Tell you one thing, they look very impressive out here, Gonzaga. That's a big-time team. Big-time team. They lost a heartbreaker this year to Florida, the Gators. That was a tough loss.
Corey Kispert tries one. That's in and out.
They still run their offense, trying to be very efficient in their half-court offense. Having a tough time with the defense. They're doing a good job of double dribble. They're doing a good job defensively and offensively. The efficiency has been superb by the Zags.
Gonzaga shooting 71% from the field, and they have been led off the bench already by 11 points from Yuri Hachimura. Only averaged about 2.5 points per game last season, 5 times that many points this season.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by New York Life. We know that life doesn't fit into any one plan, so start a plan that flexes with yours.
This kid here is unbelievable. I think the media up in Japan should start following him around like they do those baseball players. I mean, the baseball players, you go see guys playing in Japan, they're all over the media. Hey, let's get the people in Japan, the media, follow this kid. He's going to be a star. Boy, another year in college with him, watch out. really cutting off Frankie Ferrari's driving ability. Trying to cut that lane away from him.
Shot clock winding down as Foster gives it up. 7 to shoot. It'll be Ferrari. Picks up his dribble out of a double team. Bertino's going to have to force one. Lost it. A reach-in foul called on Norvell. Literally as the shot clock went to 0, Gene.
You know, Hachimura, he has about a half dozen Japanese media here watching him. They had a dozen at the season opener, but there are also NBA scouts here. I talked to one before the game, and they said even though he comes off the bench, you cannot hide his talent. But Mark Few says his game is not ready for the NBA just yet, and culturally, competitively, physically, he doesn't think he's ready. He said when he first got here last year, he could understand about 10% of the English being spoken to him. This year, it's about 70%. And Mark said that when he nods and smiles, that means he doesn't really have a clue what you're talking about. He says this year, he doesn't nod and smile as much. He's getting it a lot more.
Tell you one thing, Gene, he was smiling when he made that left-handed jam, man. I saw him smiling, trying to get the crowd fired up. People in Japan would jump with joy with that move.
Perkins hooks a pass back to Tilly. He's got another 3. Hasn't missed since coming to Las Vegas.
He hasn't missed in 2 days. Are you kidding me? 5 of 5 yesterday. What's he got? 4 for 4 tonight, Mo? It's unbelievable.
Bertino. That's no good. Well up off the window. Getting down on the ground, though, is Yurkatan to keep it alive. And it's back to San Francisco.
There's those cuts, handoff, backdoor cuts.
Jimbo Low, one-on-one with Tilly tied up, and that's no good. The rebound pulled down by Jonathan Williams.
Well, Tilly made him take really a tough shot right there. That was a brick.
Straight away, it's Williams. Way short. Running it down, though, is Norvell. Right back to Williams.
Oh, Norvell had a backdoor cut. He faked it, but he should have ran a backdoor cut. Tell you what. Hachimura comes back to school next year. He is going to be lights out for another year, no doubt.
Shot clock at 5. Perkins gives it up. And it will stay with Gonzaga, but with 1 on the timer as Matt McCarthy comes back in.
Well, he smiled. Look at his hair. Who said he doesn't smile? Look at that look on his face. He knows the scoreboard, what it says, too, and he's been responsible for getting up there where it is.
There's the lob to Williams. They're able to get a shot off before the timer expired, but Williams comes up short.
That front court is terrific. That baseline 3 can really play. When you look at Tilly, Williams, bring in Hachimura. Kid Zach Collins, man, he made a lot of money in the NCAA tournament. That's what got him to go to the NBA. So I don't think prior to that he was thinking about that, but he played so well. The stock kept going up and up. His future's unreal.
Well, all that they lost last season, obviously Mark Few realizes he probably doesn't have anywhere near the same level of talent he had last year, but he said the nice part, if there's a silver lining, the trickle-down effect is there's so much more balance to this team this year. They've had 7 different guys this year at one point or another scored 20 points in a game. They've got 5 players that average double figures. So maybe he does have enough balance to get this team more as a surprise, making a run through the tournament back to the Final Four.
And they got a guy coming off the bench who leads them in scoring.
Right.
And Hachimura. I mean, they're just a solid program year in and year out. It's becoming transfer university. When you think about all the transfers he's had over the years from different schools coming down there and becoming outstanding players.
Our Wednesday night NBA doubleheader starts at the Motor City with the Pistons hosting DeMar DeRozan and the Eastern Conference leading Raptors at 8 Eastern. Then LeBron and the Cavs in Denver take on Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets. Our coverage tips with NBA Countdown at 7 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. Raptors, Pistons, that'll be a good one. And then LeBron and the Cavs taking on the Nuggets.
Tell you a team that doesn't get a lot of respect. The Raptors. Everybody in the league knows they can play. Everybody in the league talks about them. People around basketball know. But you talk to the average fans, they never mention them when they talk to East. What do they hear? The Cavaliers. What do they hear? The Celtics. Let me tell you, DeRozan and Lowry can flat out play.
Well, another guy that can flat-out play is the subject of tonight's Wendy's Wooden Watch, and he will be front and center literally in the second half of our doubleheader over on ESPN2 coming up later on. Jock Landale, the player of the year in the West Coast Conference, averaging a double-double 7 times, over 30 points. One of those Australian imports that has made his way to Moraga. And it is the Kennel South, but they are certainly going to, tomorrow night, be invading this place again if it turns out to be Gonzaga St. Mary's.
Well, the one thing, St. Mary's got a real tough battle coming up. BYU is a tough basketball team, a lot of tradition, and they're not going to back down. I mean, they're going to play them exceptionally tough. And Landale's going to have a really big game. He was impressive last year when I saw him here.
Closing seconds of the first half. Perkins has it taken away. Nate Renfro trying to beat the buzzer, gives it up to Martino. Good if it goes. In and out. That kind of first half for San Francisco. Hachimura off the bench with 11, helping to lead a big-time first half for Gonzaga. After the break, it'll be the Audi halftime report. Chris Cotter, Jay Will, and Seth Greenberg. Stick around. And welcome back to Las Vegas, where there is always a good show to see. And talk about good shows to see. We saw one in the first half for Gonzaga, and we saw one at halftime as well. My career at ESPN actually began doing dog frisbee.
You did dog frisbee?
No, I did. I called dog frisbee.
That dog's got some trips,
and
man.
Here I am.
I'll tell you one thing. What a performance by the front court. It was unbelievable. That front court was dynamite. I mean, he mentioned it, said it at halftime, how good they are. They are really legitimate big time. You can talk about certainly Hachimura. You can talk about Tilly. Tilly hasn't missed a shot. It's his birthday, 20 years old. He hasn't missed one in Vegas. And what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Making those shots, but look at this guy. What a great drop step on the post. Finished it off with an explanation, but with a big slam jam. What have they accounted for? Look at this right here. Under 29 of the points. They've outscored San Fran. Does San Fran have a run in them? San Francisco, the Dons.
We'll see. That's Dick Vitale. I'm Bob Wischusen, and Gene Wojciechowski with us as well. Gene?
You know, Kyle Smith was talking about Hachimura too, just saying their bench had no answer, could not compete with him. They have to do a better job when the bench comes in, and they simply can't handle that kind of firepower. If they keep on shooting like that, they got no chance, they said. On the Gonzaga side, he did like the defense in the first 5 minutes, loved it in the last 15, just wants to see better execution from that offense.
Tell you one thing, Gene, when you look at Gonzaga, take a look at that club. They're strong on the interior. This kid hasn't missed a shot in the last 48 hours. They're strong on the interior. They got good perimeter play. They're deep. They're well coached. They can make a run and become dangerous in the tournament time. And I'll tell you, team to watch at tournament time, you better keep an eye on Michigan. John Beilein can flat out coach. Has 2 wins over the Spartans this year. Did a great job to win the Big Ten title in the tournament play. I'm telling you, Michigan is going to be dangerous.
Yeah, they're making the most noise of any team at the end of the regular season and now in tournament play by making that run and winning the Big Ten championship. What a run they had at the Garden. As Ferrari feeds the corner, Martino can't hit. It ends up with Ferrari, and he comes up short.
Okay, Norvell, we talked about outstanding young talent. Comes from Simeon High School, where they produced so many players. Think about Jabari Parker. You think about Nick Anderson. What about the late Ben Wilson? He was another one from that high school. They think about certainly Deion Thomas came from that high school as well. They've had Jabari Parker. It's been unreal, Simeon, the players they've produced.
Derrick Rose?
Oh, Derrick Rose. Yeah, I'm sorry, Derrick. I'm quickly forget. He was only an MVP in the NBA.
Well, we're a good team.
Yeah, you bailed me out, man. Derrick Rose. Wow.
Another 3 goes down. This one from Silas Melson. That's the 9th made 3 already for Gonzaga.
You know, Melson, one of those solid players, doesn't get a lot of PR publicity. He and Perkins got so much winning experience. That's the difference. A lot of teams have experience, but it's winning experience that they have at Gonzaga.
McCarthy fouled by Williams. Jonathan Williams averaging about a double-double over the last 10 games for the Zags, and he's closing in on 1,000 rebounds. Got 964 career rebounds coming into tonight, and tonight he has added 6 more. So he's got a chance, if they make a run in the NCAA tournament, to get to 1,000 for his career.
Well, he's a Windex man. He likes leading that class. Started out in Missouri doing it.
And one as Nate Renfro with a chance for an old-fashioned three-point play.
Well, nice drive by Renfro, taking the ball down the lane. I think it's San Francisco to Dodge. Talking to Bill Cartwright earlier, they were 29-0, 29 consecutive weeks. They were number 1 until they ran into the Golden Dome and the Irish and Mr. Digger Phelps.
You know, you look at San Francisco and what they're trying to do there. We saw Bill Cartwright earlier. They are trying to tap into that history and legacy. San Francisco with Bill Russell, Casey Jones, those NIT championship teams, the 2-time NCAA championship team. The problem is that was a long time ago, and a lot of these kids, that's ancient history to them. But that's the goal there, to try to recap that kind of legacy and get these players invested in what they're trying to build here.
I'll tell you one thing, it's a great school. They should be able to get some good talent, and I think they got the right coach. I think talking to Kyle before the game, you can feel that he has a passion for what he's doing, and they got to get players. It's all about getting players. I mean, think about Pete Noel, certainly unbelievable. You talk about a mind that understood the game inside and out. Take a look right here. Look at the basketball history. Incredible. Bill Russell, Casey Jones. You see those 2 names, you just say greatness, greatness, greatness. Now the question is, one of the teams they beat for the national title back in the 50s was the great, and I mean great, Tom Gola in LaSalle. Now, Mr. Wischusen, I'm going to ask you.
Oh boy.
I know you weren't around at that time. I was. You ever hear of Tom Gola?
Yes, I've heard of Tom Gola.
He was something else, man. You talk about a guy that can pass, can shoot, but he just didn't have enough to be able to beat the Dons and Mr. Russell. Russell only Russell only knew one thing: winning, winning, winning. Doesn't have enough fingers for putting all the rings he has.
He might be the greatest team winner in the history of American sports.
Yeah,
he's up there with Babe Ruth. I mean, all he ever did was win.
What about Yogi? Yogi's got 10 too.
Yogi
don't forget my Bison Yogi.
I don't forget Yogi. You're right. Yeah, all Yogi did was play in World Series and win just about all of them. As Renfro hits a 3.
I'll tell you one thing, you mentioned Yogi. I was on a radio show and I talked about, I can't wait to go to St. Louis for the SEC. There's a little hook inside.
A little hook inside. Jonathan Williams, all he needed was a pair of goggles, and he'd be Kareem with that sky hook.
Wow. But I'll tell you this, going to St. Louis, you got Yogi and Joe Garagiola at the nice Italian hill. And I know one thing, there'll be a lot of good Italian restaurants. Look at this. You don't see the hook shot anymore.
Well, that's a lost art right there.
Yeah, you don't see it. You've got to get Kareem back out teaching guys how to make that hook shot.
Well, it's interesting. We were talking about Premek Karnowski with Mark Few before the game. And we were asking him, you know, he's overseas, he's playing in Spain. Why not a chance in the NBA? Mark Few said, these NBA teams, they're not looking for a guy like that anymore. The big traditional center that, you know, now they want a 7'2" guy that's going to step out and handle the ball and shoot the 3 like Kristaps Porzingis. And you wonder, when you see that shot from Williams, and you remember, when I was growing up, the unblockable shot of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, if maybe basketball won't float back in that direction a bit, and maybe NBA teams will value the traditional center again at some point.
Well, you know, also with Karnowski, I think it's foot speed. I think the fast pace of the game in the NBA up and down the court would have a difficult time in transition dealing with it. But they are looking for the guy now, 6'10", 11, who they can play inside, outside, make the shot. I mean, look at Durant, people like that. Special.
We'll have even more on that with Dick Vitale when we come back to Las Vegas.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Progressive Insurance, your first-round pick for car insurance, and TD Ameritrade.
Guys like Durant, they want to handle the ball, they want to face the goal and shoot it. And really, you don't have too many more guys, Gene, coming in the league who play back-to-back. We got DeMarcus Cousins, who I think is a tremendous talent down there, does a great job in the post now with New Orleans out with an injury. But, Embiid certainly shows that kind of ability. But it seems to be a lost scenario, finding that true low-post player.
I think we might see one in the second game with St. Mary's and Landale. He kind of has a back-to-the-basket type of game. I saw Texas earlier with Mo Bamba. I know Ayton isn't a traditional kind of back-to-the-basket guy, and Marvin Bagley, the third you've seen him, Dick, I guess that the positions evolved a little bit, and those guys, they're sort of hybrids in a way.
But I'll tell you one thing, I like that you mentioned Ayton. Ayton's having such an incredible year, plays in the post, can step out as well, very athletic, just dominated. The other day went from 20 and 20, and I said people better start talking about him for player of the year, and they better start talking about him as possibly the first pick of the draft. He's that good, Gene.
Pretty sky hook from Tavi Yurkatam at one end, and now beating everyone to the baseline is Jonathan Williams, and one.
Got no answer defensively. San Francisco cannot stop them defensively.
You think it's going to be that evolving process in the NBA, and then maybe at some point we will get to the point where the traditional center finds his role again in the NBA?
Well, it depends on players. Depends on players coming out. I think he mentioned Ayton has potential to play down there in the post. I think we look certainly, he mentioned Bamba. Bamba's got to get stronger physically. He runs the court exceptionally well. He's got to improve. I mean, we had Shaq, especially. Since there's another guy coming out like Shaq, that'd be unbelievable. Shaquille was a genuine super low post player.
Backdoor cut. Sule Boom is able to recover. Sule Boom with 8 to shoot, gives it up to Yurkatam. NBA three for Renfro goes down.
Hey, Renfro having a nice little game, but it's been all Gonzaga. Let's not kid ourselves. They have dominated. They have not been able to stop them. See, need better execution than that. And Mark Few was not happy with that shot. He was not happy with that shot. That's why he's a great coach, and that's why they win. You stay on top of people. Just because you get the lead, you got to play within the system.
Yurkatam on the backdoor cut. Out of the double team. 8 to shoot. Renfro sets up Boom from the corner. In and out. Renfro kept it alive and draws a foul.
Hey, one thing Renfro really hustled on the glass. Got a nice little sweet jump shot. Look at him, watch the follow through. Nice little jump, good rotation. San Francisco. I'm thinking about the Giants now. They got my guy Longoria. Don't get me going about that now. See, I see the Giants, I hear San Francisco, and I think about my Rays giving up on our face of the organization. The face, Evan Longoria. They're going to love him. Buster Posey's going to love playing with him. Buster, by the way, is one of the great people in pro sports. What he does to help kids battle cancer is so special. I love him. I did a big event with him. We raised a lot of money out in San Fran to help young people. In fact, mention that, like you people out there, please tonight when you go to bed, say a little prayer for Jordan Guglielmini. She lives in my area. She's 8 years old, Bradenton, Florida, and she's battling lung cancer. And it could be terminal according to her family. So I'm begging all of you, please pray for her. And we must help kids battling that disease.
Well, maybe a good time for you to mention the gala coming up and the fundraising efforts you have again this year to try and raise millions of dollars for the V Foundation.
Yeah, that'll be, thanks a lot, Bob, for plugging it. It's going to be on May 11th. It's going like crazy. Tickets, anybody wants something, better call. We're going to honor Greenie, Mike Greenberg, who's donating a lot for the new book he has to our gala. Jim Harbaugh, we're honoring, who does unbelievable work out there for the Carr Foundation out in Michigan, where they lost that beautiful Chad Carr, beautiful kid who passed from brain cancer. And also we're honoring Live 8-0.
Killian Tilly throws it down. He still hasn't missed.
Has not missed a shot. 20th birthday, and we're talking not only today, yesterday as well. They have no answer for them defensively. Can't stop.
Ferrari tries to keep it alive along the baseline. It's up Yurkatan. That's an air ball.
They've really done a great job containing Ferrari. He's had a really outstanding year for San Francisco.
Tilly, yes.
I mean, it's unbelievable. He still hasn't missed a shot. Don't leave. We might be seeing unbelievable history here. Tilly on his birthday, 20 years of age. Oh, I wish I could be 20. I went to watch Jennifer Lopez the other night. You didn't come with us. You had a ticket, and you did not come. I went with Kim Belton and my wife, and I was dancing in the aisles, man.
I had to learn how to pronounce Rui Hachimura.
Nice pass. Good layup
inside. An easy one inside for Eric Paulson, who has a chance for a three-point play when we come back. Not too bad when you score 20 on your 20th birthday. Killian Tilly, perfect from the field.
Hasn't missed a shot. It's unreal. The guy's perfect. He's above Derek. He's perfect.
We're back with a look at our top seeds, brought to you by Lowe's. This is where Joe Lenardi thinks, at least if the tournament were to begin tomorrow, the top 4 or top 8 teams would be on the top 2 lines.
Well, you know, I look right there. Certainly I agree with Virginia, Villanova, and Xavier. I'm not sure about Kansas, and I'll tell you this. I think if Duke can win that ACC tournament, I think we'll see Duke slide into that 1 seed spot. I really do.
You think they'll take a spot from who?
Kansas. I really do. I think they'll take that spot. You know, Kansas got really routed in that game with Oklahoma State. It was unbelievable on the road.
And Bill Self said after that game that there has been a fear of our team in years past. No one fears us right now.
Well, it's not a vintage personnel-wise. Looking at Kansas team, I think Bill Self's done an amazing job with that team. I know Seth Greenberg said he's his coach of the year. I go Rick Barnes. Are you kidding me?
Tilly!
Are you serious?
Again!
Are we serious? Come on, man. You can't be that good. You can't be that good. He's perfect. He's perfect. His 20th birthday. I wonder if he's going to get a cake tonight.
Am I going to see him at a roulette table with you in about an hour and a half?
Oh, wow.
You going to bring him along?
I know roulette for me. No gambling for me. I work too hard for my money. I got deep pockets, short arms.
Oh, he's human. He missed a shot.
He missed a shot. He tried the old-fashioned hook, and he missed one. He's human. He's real.
Coming up a little bit short from the corner was Corey Kispert.
They still run that offense and stay within their system.
Straight away. That 3 is off the mark from Eric Paulson.
Look at this.
Tilly for 3. He's got another. He's still perfect from three-point land, by the way. 5 for 5 in the quarterfinals, and now 5 for 5 in the semifinals.
He's 10 for 10. Unbelievable in 2 nights shooting the 3. I think
boom with a floater.
His stock is going up, and up, man. Now, we talked about Jonathan Williams being a great rebounder. He's going to walk there. I mentioned to you earlier, Tom Golo LaSalle. He's the all-time rebound leader in the NCAA. 2,201. Look at Tilly. Look at that stroke. Great rotation. Nothing but nylon. Splash. Wow. Wow. Look at him. He's feeling good.
Well, he came into tonight at 46% from 3. Second best in the West Coast Conference. Amazingly, though, he didn't shoot that many threes during the regular season. Of the starters, he shot the 4th most threes on his own team, and yet at 46% was the 2nd most accurate in the conference.
A quality 3.
Easily down the lane.
No defense
for Perkins.
No defense. You can't get back in the game if you're not going to defend. There's no answer. They have no answer for the personnel right now that they're putting on the floor at Gonzaga. Just a much more talented basketball team, a very deep team. They're efficient offensively, defensively. I'm telling you, watch them in the tournament.
Nice roll to the goal and a lay-in for Paulson.
Okay, I love Michigan. People better keep that eye on Michigan. They are going to be a tough out for people in the tournament. John Beal knows how to coach really well. It's a flat-out super coach. I said the other day, you know, he's certainly not underrated by his peers. He's not underrated by the media that follows basketball. But as the average fan, very rarely John Beelan's name is mentioned. I mean, this guy can coach. His son's pretty good, too. He's doing an excellent job.
And talking to other coaches, he's one of those guys that other coaches like yourself will look at and will see the difference between John Beilein and how he crafts a game plan and all the different sets that Michigan runs. It's noticeable, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, he gets the most out of his people. He puts his people with their strengths in the right position to succeed. And then he hides the liabilities and the negatives that people have. He sees the game in such a special way. I mean, they're lucky and fortunate in the state of Michigan to have two guys like Izzo and Beilein, two guys that can flat out get the most out of people. Till he comes out of the game, celebrate your birthday, lots of smiles. Oh, he'll be big man on campus, man, down in Gonzaga. Look at him. He knows I'm the star of stars tonight.
When you're down here at Spokane South, which is what Las Vegas becomes here at the Orleans Arena during the West Coast Conference Championship, he feels like he's on campus. Hachimura goes to work. And he's fouled on the way up.
Pac-12 will be invading here soon for their big tournament. I tell you what, they haven't had, as Joe said, it has not been from top to bottom a very strong league. I mean, certainly Arizona's been the class in the league, no doubt about it. Aiton, DeAndre, and Trier, that's a dangerous combination. And they showed people after that disastrous start down there in the Bahamas how good they are.
$12 points now for Hachimura, his first point of the second half. Gene?
You know, another conference coming here this week is the Mountain West Conference, and there has been discussions between Gonzaga, at least they're listening to the Mountain West, about the possibility of leaving the WCC and joining the Mountain West. I talked to Athletic Director Mike Roth. He says, yes, they're taking the discussion seriously. That's not the same thing as we are definitely going to go, but they say they have to listen to it. They have to do what's best for Gonzaga and do what's best for the brand. So, Dick, it's certainly something that is on their minds. Will it happen? Don't know yet.
Tell you one thing, also BYU's another one people will look at. I mean, those programs got some great tradition when you think about BYU and certainly Gonzaga over the years. I mean, since 1997, they have been in the finals of the WCC. Think about domination. 16 of the last 17 years, they won the regular season title. I mean, that's right up there with Bill Self's special 14 in a row.
Souley Boom comes up short. Hachimura's got the rebound. Well, yesterday at the practices, Randy Bennett of St. Mary's was there with Gene Wojciechowski, and we talked to him about what the impact would be on the West Coast Conference if they ever lost Gonzaga. BYU certainly would be impactful as well, but Randy Bennett wasn't sure that that would be a blow that the WCC would be able to come back from. So there are a lot of folks in the West Coast Conference keeping their fingers crossed that that day never comes to pass. Where, Chris, no one is hotter than Killian Tilly. He is 10 for 10 from three-point land in the WCC Championship. 24 points in the quarterfinal win, 26 points tonight, only a point away from his career high on his 20th birthday.
Well, you know, his father is the coach of the national team down there in France in volleyball, and his two brothers was a superstar down at Cal Irvine. Volleyball, I'll tell you this, I bet he's a great volleyball player too, this guy. But you know what? He picked the right sport. That basket is like the Atlantic Ocean to him right now. But since you're on the West Coast, Pacific Ocean. I mean, it's just like the Pacific Ocean.
Are we on the West Coast?
Well, not quite. So we'll give a little benefit of that. I'll tell you one thing. When the basketball I played, it was like a teacup. Hachimura wants the ball inside. Try to post. A little handoff on the perimeter.
Shot clock down to 5. Jones will drive it. Can't finish. Takeaway by Tavi Yurkatan. Ferrari sets up Ratino.
Ferrari to Ratino. Wow.
It's your kind of name combination.
Oh, and a little linguini on that name, too. They had so much respect for San Francisco, and they came out really fired up here because they know that San Fran played them tough 2 times. And they came out here and said, "I'm going to put a knockout punch," and they did right away.
Ferrari gives it up. Tough catch and a miss from Matt McCarthy.
So active. You look at Gonzaga's front court, very active on the glass.
Game 2 of our semifinal coming up over on ESPN2 at 11:30 Eastern Time. That, with Nelson going backdoor, will feature BYU and St. Mary's. St. Mary's moving up to the top 20 in the latest AP poll, as they really struggled with Pepperdine on Saturday night in the quarterfinals. And we'll have that one for you over late night basketball from the WCC Championship here in Las Vegas on ESPN2. And then tomorrow night at 9 Eastern, the championship game. And will we have once again a 3rd meeting this season between St. Mary's and Gonzaga? The only loss this season for the Zags at home to St. Mary's.
Well, there's no doubt that both those clubs have really dominated the conference. I really enjoyed talking to Karan Butler before the game. I think people are going to really enjoy listening to him doing that game with you, Bob. Talked about his school, Connecticut. What happened in Connecticut? That's what I'm trying to find out. I'll tell you, very simple. Connecticut belongs in the Big East. They belong in the Big East, where they can go out and recruit the blue chip player like they were able to do when they were there. It's just not a sexy way of getting the kind of players they've been acclimated to over these. Not that the conference they're in isn't good. It's a very good conference. I mean, there's some quality teams in here. But on a national recruiting scale where Connecticut was, they can't duplicate what they've done in the past.
In basketball.
Basketball,
The problem is they've got a football stadium and a big football training facility and a football team that also needs a conference to play in. So what's the answer to that?
Play in the bin. I mean, basketball's so big down here, man. And I'll tell you one thing. They're not getting crowds now. They're not winning. And it's really becoming a tough time. I feel a little bit for Kevin Ollie, what he's going through.
Chance for Jeremy Jones at the line to complete a 3-point play.
Jeremy Jones getting some PT, some playing time right here. Let me tell you, when you come back to Vegas one time, you got to go see Jennifer Lopez. I mean, I haven't seen energy. She is to dance and music what LeBron is to absolute basketball. And I got a little text message from a guy named Alex Rodriguez. So I really appreciated that you said that about Jennifer. I put that up on Twitter. Oh, she's unbelievable. Kim Belton was dancing in the aisles, our producer. He was smiling, laughing. We said, "Where's Bob Wischusen?" You know where he was? He was watching practice here. You're dedicated, man.
In and out for Frankie Ferrari. Hachimura slows up and tosses up a wild one.
He's still
that's right. We've got. I think we've got, with all of the statistics that we keep on the screen, we got to get the Dick Vitale name-dropping logo. We got to keep the count of that during the game.
Hey, I learned that from Cosell, man. Cosell was a master at that. Why not? Have so much fun. If everybody could have the fun I've had doing this for 39 years, unreal. Love it. I love that as much as I do when I go out and speak at these corporate events. I like that. But I like that a little better than when the cash register goes ding-a-ling-ding. Oh, it's tough to get really, talking strategy here. You got a 26-point game. There's been no threat whatsoever. I mean, I'll be very honest. No threat at all. It's been an M&M. It's been a flat-out mismatch.
Well, again, it shows you the dominance of Gonzaga in this league.
Absolutely.
And the fact that Mark Few is about to improve to 55-15 in the West Coast Conference Tournament. They've won 16 titles, 6 of the last 7, 5 in a row. They've made it 23 times to the championship game, 20 consecutive seasons they've been in the championship game, and they're about to go for a 21st consecutive year. What will it take? St. Mary's is the closest they've knocked on the door for the past decade or so with Randy Bennett. What will it take for another team in this league to even approach Gonzaga's level?
Well, you got to get that kind of players. They get really tremendous talent. And they have a way of getting kids who maybe struggle a little bit somewhere else and want to transfer. They've really lived off the transfer exceptionally well. But I'm telling you this, the numbers are unreal. Their last loss was January 18th to St. Mary's. 15 in a row, 16 after tonight. The last 3 years, they're 51-3. I mean, this is all the preparation I did for this game. I got a lot of stuff on San Fran.
Was this while J-Lo was singing or before or after the show?
It was after the show. I stayed up real late. 51-3. I went to see Motown, too. Also, some great sound last night.
What'd you do during intermission of that show? Which nugget did you uncover?
You're not going to believe this, but a beautiful young lady, my wife is sitting next to me, asked me to dance to some of the Motown sound. And I was dancing, man. Talk about a mismatch. Trying to compare my dancing with some of these people that can dance. That's a mismatch. I'm trying to read these numbers and you're bringing up Motown.
Sorry.
I'm going to call my boss up. Fitting, what are they doing to me here?
Far be it for me to disrupt your train of thought.
David Seisler, what are you doing to me here? I mean, gee whiz, I want to talk about 51-3. I'm only teasing. But, hey, they got wins over Ohio State, Gonzaga, Creighton, Texas, Washington, when Washington was playing really well. In fact, Washington, did they not beat Kansas? They beat Kansas.
Decidedly, in Kansas City.
Yeah, they had 2 losses. Lost to Villanova, lost to Florida and St. Mary's. But bottom line is Florida were right there.
Well, Mark Few is on his way to yet another WCC championship game. And coming up, Dick Vitale with some thoughts on Stay for Play. We'll explain. We come back.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal. Investments, retirement, insurance.
Kenny, that is exactly what Gonzaga has been, a 30-point lead for a Bulldogs team that lost 4 top players off of the team that went to the title game last season. Nigel Williams-Goss, of course, that was their type A personality, the alpha dog, according to Mark Few, that led the way. But the big bodies up front, Zach Collins, the one and done, and Dickie V, that has now again taken center stage in college basketball, the one and dones and the benefits that they may be getting that they shouldn't be getting that raise the ire of the FBI.
Well, you know, the situation for me is I think we've reached that time right now. Everybody's making money. Think about it. Coaches are making millions. 47 coaches was in a paper making over $2-3 million a year in USA Today had a great report about that. You think about Mark Emmons making millions ahead of the NCAA. I make a pretty good living, and most guys that are on top of basketball make a pretty good living. Yet the kids get nothing, and they're stars of stars. I think the day has come. There's a great article by a journalist I have such great respect for. I was lucky and fortunate to get in the Hall of Fame in broadcasting the same day he got in as a journalist. Mitch Albom wrote an incredible column in Detroit about it. He said, come on now, you want to get rid of the sleaziness? And I've been preaching this. Get rid of the sleaziness, the agents taking money, giving money for runners, you eliminate it. If a player's good enough and he's in high school and an agent wants to advance the family money and the kid money, so be it. Let him get that cash and you wipe out the sleazy agents. Number two, why not allow him to get money on appearances? If he have a stipend, a certain fee, the maximum. But if he can appear at a banquet and he can sign autographs, pictures, and say a few words, let him get the cash. I mean, things outdated. The NCAA's outdated. Years ago, you could talk about scholarship. No longer. There's zillions being made. Gene, what do you think about that?
Well, I would rather have the NCAA or a conference or a school itself paying the players rather than agents. I would say the only problem with Mitch's idea is not all things are equal. Yes, at Kentucky, you can do the banquet circuit if you're a player there. Can you do that at San Francisco? I don't think so, but I do love your idea of let's give them something. I'm not saying a scholarship isn't priceless. It is, but this is $1 billion pie, and there are more than a few crumbs for the players.
Well, Gene, when you made a point there about, San Francisco, well, we're talking basically about the coveted superstar recruit who's the vital name in the game. And those guys, if you want to keep them in the game and you want them to be part of it, I firmly believe you get two things out of the agents. Give money up front. Number one, you wipe out the sleazy agent. And number two, I think by appearances, why not? If a kid is good enough to win a Heisman Trophy and he can appear, I say it's got to happen, because what's happening now cannot exist.
Talking to Mike Krzyzewski about it last week, 2 weeks ago, before we had a chance to call a Syracuse-Duke game, and he made exactly that point, that we are in an unsustainable system that at some point has to be overhauled. And we'll see as we go forward exactly what's to be. But when we're done, stick around for SportsCenter. Kenny Mayne and Steve Levy standing by, as we're only about 42 seconds away from Gonzaga moving on to the WCC championship game. They'll have all the best buzzer beaters from the college hoop season so far. What has changed for LeBron and the Cavs? A defensive turnaround? They'll talk about that. The combine winners and losers with the NFL draft on the horizon. SportsCenter coming up next here on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Hey, Mayne and Levy, what a dynamite duo in the backcourt. That's why I got fired in the NBA. My guard shut the ball like those two guys do.
There we go. Mayne and Levy. That is the Dick Vitale name-dropping counter. Ching, ching. Two more added to the total.
Oh, have a good game the next game, my friend.
And Brian Pete comes off the bench. And Gene, that is a former manager that now gets some run with the varsity.
Former manager got called up to the varsity when there were injuries in late November, has played in 6 games, actually got to participate on senior night and took 3 shots, missed badly in the first 2, finally made it.
Great working with you, Gene. I love the book Gene has. Gene had a great book he's come out with about that great game when Leitner hit that incredible shot that beat Kentucky.
Well, another incredible performance by Gonzaga as they win in cruise control, really, from the start against San Francisco. 88-60 is the final. So Gonzaga moves on. They await the winner of BYU St. Mary's at 11:30 over on ESPN2. Game 2 of our doubleheader. For now, so long from Las Vegas. Coming up next, it's SportsCenter.